You're listening to Cash and Sass. I'm Lisa Marie, your go-to gal for all things money. As the Sassy Wealth Queen and the brains behind the Sassy Wealth Coach, I'm here to take you on a thrilling ride from the financial chaos to sassy and sexy money. Welcome back, my sassy friend, to another episode of Cash and Sass podcast. I'm Lisa Marie, the Sassy Wealth Queen and the brains behind this podcast and, of course, the Sassy Wealth Coach. And with me today, I have Audrey Faust, and she is a business financial coach with over 25 years of experience as an accountant and a fractional CFO, specializing in empowering women, small business owners. She combines her extensive financial expertise with certified neuro coaching techniques. I'm interested in that, by the way. I meant to ask that to help women entrepreneurs refine their mindset and up-level their finances for sustainable, profitable growth. Her mission is to equip women to take charge of their financial futures. She's known for her personal, relatable approach. She ensures that her coaching is free of judgment, helping her clients achieve financial independence and stability, enhancing their ability to contribute to their communities. Welcome, Audrey. Thank you so much for joining us. And my sassy friends, you know what we're going to talk about because it's what we talk about all the time, because this is all about candid conversations. And today we're going to just dive deep into those subconscious secrets that hold so many entrepreneurs back. Because as you know, I am big on the money mindset and the money management going hand in hand. And my dear friend now, Audrey, has said the same thing when I was reading the stuff. And I was like, oh, she's my sister. Not
Well,
many
you
people
definitely
will, right? Not many people will actually say that they go hand in hand. And I believe they do. I say I'll repeat it until the day I die. So we're just going to dive in. Audrey, can you give us a little bit of background of how did you I want to know your journey with money and the money mindset, because we all have it. And I love for my listeners to realize that, one, they're not alone, right? And then we're just going to dive deep into those subconscious secrets.
So thank you, Lisa. Thanks for having me here. I'm excited to be here and talk with a fellow person that is all about the mindset and the actual financial strategy that go together. So my journey is I would notice a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners as I was doing my CFO work. I would notice this mindset of how different ones acted differently about money, towards building their business, their wealth. And I was fascinated by this and would see it holding them back in so many ways. And I stumbled across the neuro coaching certification, which was all around your subconscious beliefs. And I said, sign me up. Yes, please. And I knew I could use it to help with the money mindset that my clients struggle with. So, and it does dramatically, because you can't, as you probably know, you can have as much strategy in the world, but if you have something in your mindset blocking you, it's going to be like you're on a stationary bike and not going anywhere. So,
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I call it the never ending hamster wheel.
yeah.
You're on this hamster wheel and you just literally hamster wheel keeps going, and it's like you don't even know how to get off. So let's talk about these subconscious beliefs, right? What are these hidden beliefs? What and so many people are going to go subconscious, and yeah, this means we don't think about it. So I want us to really dive deep into that part. What are these subconscious beliefs?
Well, let me share a little bit of statistics first that I learned in my neuro coaching certification. Your subconscious runs 95% of your thoughts, and you have 80,000 thoughts per day. And the third thing is your subconscious was formed mostly when you were a child, before the age of 7.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to say you have a 7-year-old running your business in most cases, right? And those subconscious beliefs that are coming in before the age of 7 are coming in from everybody else around us. We don't get to pick and choose them.
Mhm.
So we are learning and taking on beliefs of the others, whether it be our parents or siblings or whomever has an influence on your day to day when you're young. We're taking them along. For
Mhm.
instance, my mom used to always say, I work hard for my money. My brain translated that into, I have to work hard for money. So that was one I had to change and transform because I was working myself to death. I was a workaholic. I was, always working and felt like I was on that hamster wheel and not getting anywhere.
Yeah. And can you explain what some of those beliefs are? Like, I know um how I've explained it is let me think. Money doesn't grow on trees,
Mhm.
and what these subconscious things are is just the things that we've entailed by the time that, like, we're the age of 7, right? You said before, by the time we're the age of 7,
Right.
and what we don't realize is sometimes it goes even further and generations back. Like the
Of
research
course.
that I've done, the trainings I've done, it can go literally 7 years or seven, not 7 years. Oh my gosh, 7 generations back. Just like with everything else, right? And one of the things that I think is important is for us to realize that the first thing is to realize what these beliefs are.
Hmm. Yeah.
You can't change them until you know what they are.
You got to identify them first, right?
And so, and I'm big on my listeners being able to get different aspects of how they can do that. Because, like I tell people, yes, I'm a fractional CFO and I'm a wealth mentor, and I'm not the only one out there, and my way isn't the only way, or, you know, that. I know that. And there's billions and billions of people out here. And I want them to realize that if one way doesn't work, that doesn't mean there isn't another way. So, would you go into explain how you would walk someone through, like, what would you tell them on how to figure out, okay, what their current belief is so that they can actually start pivoting those?
Sure. Absolutely. Well, I have 5 questions that I ask right off the bat. And you can actually, in the free PDF that I'm offering for your listeners, the 12 Secrets from an Expert CFO, there is a link to a recording that asks you all 5 questions. And you have to answer them, the first answer that comes to your mind, because that's your subconscious. So, your when you start thinking about it, then your conscious is kicking in. So that's a quick, fast, easy way that I help my clients identify any money mindset is by asking these 5 questions. I kind of shared one with you already. Making money is, and what's the first word that comes to your mind? Then, like I said in my story, was making money was hard for me. So my answer would have been hard. Many, many entrepreneurs, their answer is hard. It's one of the most common answers I get. Unless you've actually done some work or you
Hmm.
have a different mind, you were grown up around a different money mindset that
Right, right.
wasn't hard. Your parents weren't saying, I work hard for my money like mine were. So, and I love how you say the different generations because my parents grew up in the Depression, right? So, and they grew up with this, penny pinching mindset of scarcity, which then was brought into my family and then brought into like goes down the line, right? Until you change it. So I can see why there's like, unless you make an effort to change what's your beliefs are, it's not going to change because you're not aware of them.
So, you said that was the first question. What are the other ones that you ask?
Well, I don't want to give away all the secrets, but
Okay, that's fine. Can you give us one more?
I'll give you one more. And I'll ask you, well, I'm trying to think of, okay. I'll ask you this one, and you probably have a really good money mindset, so you'll probably get a positive answer. So, Lisa, rich people are,
They're very giving.
yeah. So the opposite of that would be greedy,
Mhm,
selfish, you
mhm,
know, mean.
mhm.
I had a client say one time that they were mean. And she said to me, well, I've done a lot of work on using mantras like and this and that. And I've had abundance come into me. And then all of a sudden I stopped doing the mantra. She goes, why do I stop doing the mantra? I said, because you have money coming into you and you don't want to be rich because rich people are mean. And she was like, so, that's how it can block you along the way.
Mhm.
If you have that negative, because your brain doesn't want to be that. They don't want you don't want to be greedy. You don't want to be mean.
Right, right. How do you get your clients to see that, or how do you w- what are the ways that you talk to women entrepreneurs and help them realize that their mindset is affecting how they're charging, how they're making money, what they're doing? So often entrepreneurs don't realize they actually do go hand in hand. And this is something that I talk to my clients about, and um, I ask questions as well, and I get them to really, really dig deep and think. My question, those questions that you have, I have two that are similar, but then I have a course, and the questions go deeper, right? So like
Mhm.
I'm wanting them to remember what was the first thing they remembered when about that was told to them about money when they
Yes.
were 5, 6, 4 years old. And
Yeah.
that takes some thought. They have to actually, really dig deep and think about it. But this is also to get them to realize that what happened however many years ago is actually affecting what they're doing now. And again, the first step is realizing, okay, where you're at, right? So,
Yes.
how do you get them to, or what's your way of, what's the question I'm trying to, I had it in my head and then it just like totally went out. That's never happened before. Uh, how do you get it to, how do you explain to them, to people that you work with, to your audience, how the mindset and the management go hand in hand?
Um, well, if they're not getting the success they want, honestly, it's pretty straightforward. And usually when I'm coaching them and working with them, I'll stop at some point and repeat their words and say, that's kind of a scarcity mindset thinking. And we want to shift that around to a non-scarcity. And you'd be amazed at how when we shift that, like all of a sudden new things come about, right? When we shift this like scarcity mindset into a positive mindset, new opportunities and new ideas and new things immediately pop into their brain. So, I mean, it's pretty evident that, you know, just doing a simple shift while coaching can make a huge difference. And when I hear that scarcity mindset coming out, like and then they get off the call, they come onto the session and this like, oh, nothing's going right. This is happening, blah, blah, blah. And then they get off the call with a new like inspiration and a new um idea and new like boom. And then they just knock it out of the park. So it's amazing when you just make a little simple shift and you have a coach like you or like me um that's able to really listen to your words
Hmm.
and really identify kind of what's going on behind the scenes and then shift that and go from a scarcity to an opportunity mindset. What's
Yeah.
the
And see,
opportunity?
and you, yeah. And see, and I say from the scarcity to abundance.
But
Um,
same thing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I, can you, when you have, excuse me, when you have, excuse me. Okay. What advice would you give women entrepreneurs who are struggling with like their cash flow management or their cash flow, or they're trying to figure out what's what?
Yeah. Cash flow is a big thing for my clients. And usually it's because um, they're not aware of what's going in and what's going out. Like, so I have a blueprint, a financial blueprint. I hate the word budget. I don't know how you are.
I use money roadmap.
There you go. I use Blueprint. So we create a blueprint that, has the money coming in, the money going out, what they need to kind of strive for every single month, where they want to go. And the aha lights that I get when we create this blueprint together was like, oh, well, now I see what's going on here. It's the clarity that I work with a lot of creatives, and they don't, they're great, right? I love creatives because I'm like the other side of my brain, right? And I'm like, okay, boom, 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 and it comes easy for me. And then I get to show them like, okay, we just need to put this all down on paper and take a look at it and really see what's going on here. And when they can kind of see it as clear as day in the blueprint, it's just such a big aha moment. So that's, how I help them with the cash flow is just by giving them clarity around the numbers so they can be confident about growing their business and creating that cash that they need.
Yeah, because I mean, I've said it thousands of times, y'all. If y'all have listened to the podcast, my podcast, and been following me for a while, is that the first step with anything is one, you got to know where your mindset is, and two, you have to know your numbers. You have to know your numbers, which means you have to know what's going out, and you can't know what's going out unless you've actually sit down and write down the expenses. It's just the way it goes. Put
And
them on a
look at
spreadsheet.
it.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, and really look at it. And I don't mean, yes, do the recurring monthly ones, but whether it's your personal or your business, it's really important for you to also do what I call that quarterly dive into your spending for those one-offs, because those one-offs is what's going to get us. With entrepreneurs, it could be the meals, it could be office supplies if you have a brick and mortar, it could be traveling, whatever. And for your personal, it could easily be gas, groceries, out to eat. Majority of the time, it's out to eat for both sides.
Yeah.
At least that's what I find. And like I explained so many times, we're in the world of we can just tap that card. And I don't mean credit card, I mean debit card too. You can tap it and you don't think about it.
Right.
And what happens is it just starts adding up. And I call them money leaks, profit leaks, money leaks.
Yeah.
And that's just one of the ones that's a profit leak. And that's normally one of the first ways that you're able to fix a profit leak. Like people are so often will ask me, okay, what's the first step I can do to fix a profit leak if I'm not ready to work with you or with another coach? Go pull your expenses, write them
Yeah.
down, really look at them. And I mean, and I tell people all the time, I'm going to say it again. You can lie to me. You can lie to Audrey. You can lie to whoever you want to, but you need to be honest with yourself. You must be honest with yourself when you are looking at this. Otherwise, it's not going to do you any good.
Yeah.
Look at
It's
them and do that audit, right? And then look at it and say, oh, okay, is this really what I want to be spending? And if it's not, then you tweak it, make your change, because that's where one of your profit leaks could be, one of your money leaks could be. And that's the quickest way to at least fix one until to get you started in the right direction. And then once you're ready, yes, especially when you're an entrepreneur, go and get a fractional CFO, a wealth coach, a wealth mentor mindset so you can work on the rest of that stuff. Y'all, I'm 8 years in. I've got over 20 years experience. Audrey's got 25 years experience. I'm 8 years in having my business. I still work on my mindset. Every
all the
single
time.
day, I still work on my mindset. I still do dives into my management. I still do at least quarterly. I minimum 6 months. I try to do quarterly because I find quarterly is just so much better and it's less stressful for me to go in and do what I call a quarterly check on my expenses. Because again, life happens, right? Gas prices could go up, groceries could go up, whatever. And we need to be able to keep a check on that. And that's how we're able to do that. And it's the same thing with the business. You could do a quarterly check or a mid-year check to see if you're still using, does it make sense for me to still have the software? No, not really. Okay, well then let's cancel it so that it doesn't renew if it's yearly when it's time. Is there something, am I using all of these still? Or is there something I could combine them with? I have a client that we were able to find a software that we were able to combine 3 of the softwares that she had into one and ended up saving her like $30 a month.
Yeah.
Because so there's just, and it may not have been available when she had those first 3 and it's available now. That's the reason why I say do a check because y'all, they're coming up with softwares all the time. And you never know if there might be another way to help you with your costs and with those profits and help with those numbers. And I'm sure you do something similar, right? Because you're looking at all the entire aspect of their money, what goes in and what comes out.
I have a little fun exercise that I do in one of my free master classes. It's called Plug the Leaks. So it's kind of funny that you use that term too. So we literally take 5 minutes during the master class and I have them go check their credit card as far back as they can go in 5 minutes and just to see if they can find anything that shouldn't be on there. And almost every time in 5 minutes, almost every time somebody comes back with at least one thing that they found on their credit card, on their business credit card or personal, I don't, let them choose. They always come back with one thing that they need to make a call on tomorrow. It's kind of, or, the next day. So, it only takes a couple of minutes. So, I love doing that exercise. It's a lot of fun. If you just take 5 minutes out and go back, and usually you can get back like 3 months in like 5 minutes, just kind of skimming through and seeing what's on there. So,
yeah, and it shows you how quickly you can find at least something. And then if you take the time to actually divide it up and really look at it, I say about 20 minutes, pulling this through 4 months, you really find out, oh, wait, I spent this much money on food. Do I really want to spend this much money on food each month? Or I spent this much money on Starbucks. Do I really want to spend this? And that's what I ask because I work with my clients because I say that being wealthy is great, but if it's not aligned with your values, your goals, and your desires, then nothing that you do to plug those leaks is going to work anyway. Because if it's not aligned, it doesn't mean anything. If we make it too restrictive, it's not going
yeah.
to work. And so what I tell people all the time is when you're looking at your amount, is it aligned with your values and your goals and your desires? And, for example, I'm just using the number. Okay. I'm not saying anybody spends $500 a month in Starbucks. There are some people who spend about 3, I think. But if you spend, we'll just do $300 a month in Starbucks, is that aligned with your values and your goals? Majority of the time people come back and go, holy crap, I did not realize I was spending that much money. And no, it's not aligned. Okay, well then let's look at how often you go. I go 6
Yeah.
days a week. Okay, well, can we cut that back to 4 days? And I actually do the math with them and say, this is approximately how much you'll save each week. Therefore, you'd be spending this each month instead of this. And they're able to look and say, oh, okay, yes, I can do that. And then we take that money that they're going to save and we're going to actually allocate it where they want. So we'll say, okay, what is some of the goals you have? Let's allocate this money there. Because then their brain goes, oh, this money is going here. This is how much I'm allocating to Starbucks or out to eat or whatever. Again, it's making you empowered and it's putting you in control. And for me, that was life changing, because I don't like chaos. Imagine that. I grew up in chaos, right? I grew up in all types of chaos, and my money, even as an adult, and later having kids, it was full of chaos. So being able to go head first into this rabbit hole of money mindset and figuring out how it was all connected was the answer for me, because I was able to take my control back and limit the amount of chaos. And there are some things that are out of our control, right? There are some things with life that life happens and it's going to cause you to spend money. But your vehicle could break down, your children get sick, whatever. There are things. Those are things out of your control. However, if you're empowered with your money and you're doing the things that me and Audrey are talking about, you're going to feel more in control and more empowered to be able to handle those hiccups, curveballs that life throws your way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I have one last question. What advice, if you have an entrepreneur who's feeling overwhelmed by the idea of their mindset, and then Lord and behold, you're wanting them to go and look at their expenses, what advice would you give them? What would you tell them, to help them at least get started?
Well, the thing I come across with, especially like newer entrepreneurs or business owners, is commingling of their personal and their business. So one of the first things I say, you need to separate that for a couple of reasons. One is, if you have an LLC, the reason you have an LLC is to keep your business and personal. Um, you're somebody not being able to get to your personal assets. If you commingle them in your business, let's say you pay your car payment out of your business and it's your personal car or whatever, like any of that then can now be a business asset, and you're not really protecting your personal assets. Like the reason you set up the LLC in the first place. The other, it just makes it so much easier, right? If you have a business credit card, a business checking account, and you keep it separate, even if you're not using a software, um, come the end of the year, it's all right there. All your business income is coming into that checking account. All your expenses are coming out of that checking account or on that credit card. And it really makes your life so much simpler. You can have as many checking accounts and credit cards as you want. So keeping it separate like that is so much more beneficial. And having a business credit card is also going to enable you to start building your business credit, which is important
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say that if you're, maybe you're at the point where you can't get a business credit card, because like I know when I first started my business, I couldn't get one. What I did is I did, however, have two personal ones.
Yeah.
One I didn't really use, so I made it my business. And you're like,
Yeah.
huh? It's still in my personal name, but I used it just for business. I didn't
Yes.
charge business and personal on it. So I literally, y'all gonna laugh at me, but in my wallet, okay, because I still use that one for business, even though I have a business card, so that I have two. So in my wallet, the left side is my business credit cards, debit cards, stuff, and on the right side is my personal. So even though that one's in my personal
Yeah.
name, it's on the left side of the wallet. So my brain knows that's for business only, and then it's synced to my software, and I don't charge any personal on it. And then the same thing as this side is the personal, so I know that's what I use for my personal stuff. I don't put anything for the business on there. And then that way, it also helps me not have accidents of pulling the wrong card,
I
which
have to
has
laugh besides
has
the same
happened.
thing. I have my cards the two separate
Is that
sides of
why
my
you're laughing? Is that literally you open up my wallet and it literally
I don't know if I'm doing it the right way. So the left side is one and the right side is the other. And I'm looking at it. I'm thinking about it. And yes, it's the right side is personal because that's where my license is. And then the left side is my business. It's my Office Depot credit card. It's those things. And once you're able to build your business credit, so one of the fastest ways I did it is, I think after 2 years in, Office Depot gave me my business and Office Depot credit card, and it was a really small line. I think like $800. Okay, I didn't need a lot. I'm an LLC, but it's me, right? And I mean, I have a team of people working with me, but they're not employees. So that was help build it. Now I'm 8 years in, I have a business line of credit. I also have a business credit card in my name. So it's just like with your personal, it's a slower process. And you're like, oh, Lisa, why you have all this stuff? The debt's bad. No, and Lord and behold, it is not. Sometimes you need those line of credits and you have to use that to keep your business going. And I promise you go look at all those millionaires and billionaires, and I guarantee you they have all used line of credit and leveraged their debt to keep them going when cash flow was down. Because guess what? Cash flow doesn't stay up the whole time. Life would be so much simpler if it did.
They don't want to use their own money.
Right.
They want to leverage as much as they can.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, people have this bad connotation around debt, but I'm the same as you. Like, it's there for you to use as long as you don't abuse.
You have to be strategic. You have to be responsible, mindful, and strategic with it. Those are the three things that I say you have to be with it. Is you have to be mindful, you have to be strategic, and you have to be responsible. If you can't, then you don't need to get them, personal or business. And that's just the way it is. You have a free a gift or an offer for my listeners. Can you tell them about that, please?
Yes, I mentioned it a little bit earlier. It's the Profit Accelerator Workbook, 12 Secrets from an Expert CFO like myself. And the first secret is the mindset. And I talk about that, and there's a link to an audio download that you can see if you have any money mindset or prosperity blockers, I like to call them. And then actually it tells you how to rewire them too. So, and then there's 11 other secrets that will help you with your business and to become more profitable. I've had such great feedback from it. People just love it. And they can't believe that I've packed so much into this easy to use workbook that's really helpful for them to grow their business and for it to become more profitable. So thank you.
Awesome. Then I hope y'all go and jump in on that. I'm big on businesses being profitable and making sure that it's aligned with your values and your goals and your desires. Remember, yes, if you're making six figures, okay, you could be rich and you could still be broke. To me, being wealthy is so much more important than being rich, because when you're wealthy, you have a profit, you know what's going on with your money, and there are ways to keep growing it and expanding that so that you can do more good in the world. So if you take anything out of this, my sassy listener, I hope it's, oh, hey, you know what? I can do a quick check. I don't have to do the deep dive yet. And then when you see how easy it is, you carve out 15 minutes to do this deep dive and write those expenses down so that you can start taking the steps towards having a truly profitable, wealthy business. And until next time, remember, stay sassy. Bye.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thanks for joining us this week on Cash and Sass. Check us out on social media and on our website at www.thesassywealthcoach.com, where you can download my free Money Story Start Guide. The website again is www.thesassywealthcoach.com. And as always, subscribe to the show to catch every new episode and leave us a review so we can continue to bring you fresh content. And remember, yes, it is possible to have sassy and sexy money. See you next week.